God.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Oh shit, guys, what's up? I was trying to cue that up really fun, but it didn't work out good.
Yo, it's okay. It's all good. Guys, what's happening? Stop the presses. Drop what you're doing. Get on that computer. Your boys are here after watching Cocaine Bear. We're down. We're here to share our thoughts. In fact, we're not alone.
Oh, we're not alone. In fact, we got our boy.
You thought 2 was trouble. Wait till you see what 3 is all about. It's a menage a trois.
Oh, he's not even in camera. You son of a Mitch. Oh, he's doing.
Hey, whoa! I'm back to life.
Doing a little cocaine. Hey.
Bulletproof Whirly. What's going on, Whirly Burly?
What up? What
Good
up?
to have you.
I'm happy to be here tonight.
Glad you could grace us with your presence.
Hell yes.
So Bobo and his boys saw the movie together. I saw it at the Alamo Draft House. We are here to talk about Elizabeth Banks' new movie based on a real life story about a cocaine bear.
Yeah.
In fact, why need a fancy title? You could just call it Cocaine Bear. And that's exactly what they called it.
Dude, and first off, had a lot of fun with it. Was looking forward to it just because, come on, look at that. I mean, all of this, it's too much to not want to be a part of this movie. And I got to say, wrong one. I got to say, I love Elizabeth Banks. And I was looking up some pictures of her, because she's like shifted over from the.
Easy. We don't need to talk about your spank banks.
No, I'm saying she shifted over from the acting and gone much more into the writing and the directing really.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
She
I
directed
found this
those Pitch
picture and I
Perfect
was like,
movies.
oh god, dang.
Yeah, she directed those Pitch Perfect movies, and that kind of, I guess.
She also directed that god awful Charlie's Angels movie.
I definitely am sorry about her directing that movie. I didn't want that to necessarily be a thing, but it is.
Yeah, well, dude, girl power didn't work out, so she went for bear power. And you know what, guys? This might be the greatest movie I ever saw in my life.
You're totally lying.
This might be the best movie of the year. Probably greatest movie of my life. It may be a little bit of an exaggeration, just a teensy bit. Not far, though. Not far from the truth. This is definitely the Oscar winner for this year. You can just hold the Oscars again. We don't need to wait. We don't need to wait for the end of the year.
Hey, well, they want a woman director to be nominated, so here you go.
Well, I can think of no better movie to break that glass ceiling, fellas, than this movie. Because I love the shit out of this movie.
Goes to this one right here.
Yeah, Babo just got us demonetized. Nice. Good job, Babo.
Nah, that one's not bad. That one's so over the top that it's not bad.
Well, so the true story should stop at a bear does cocaine. That's about as true.
Well, you do 72 pounds of cocaine, even if you're a bear, you're probably gonna die, especially if you eat 72 pounds of cocaine.
Dude,
and actually,
bear does it too,
dude.
boy.
And actually, so the true story about this is there really was that guy named Andrew Thornton. I think was his name, something Thornton, and he really did drop 80 something pounds. Or maybe even more than that, out of an airplane, and he fell out of that plane, and his chute didn't come out, so he really did die. Now, maybe it might not have been as comedic of a death as they made it, where he knocked himself out. But the bear, a black bear in 1985, really did eat 80 pounds of cocaine, and it died pretty quickly afterwards with like a stroke and all kinds of other crazy shit that happened to the bear after eating all that.
It got stuffed. It's now in a mall, I believe.
Yeah, and that's about as true as it gets. And then they really did never find the rest of all that coke that they claimed the movie claims there was left in that forest or whatnot. But
some people say it's still in the forest.
Some people say, and if you go deep,
you go in
the woods.
Yeah, if you go in that forest, you're gonna leave high.
Spin in a circle and say "cocaine bear" 3 times with your eyes closed.
Yeah, and this. Yeah, and all damn, I was trying to fit it in nicely and get it in there quick. Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
It can even bring you back to life.
Yeah,
if you're a bear.
Okay, the end was a little cheesy. Like, I'm not lying. I had a blast with this movie. There's very few moments where you can get me to audibly react in a theater, and that scene where that dude gets shot in the head. I went,
yeah,
that's my literal reaction.
It was fun.
Yeah, totally.
It was funny when that happened, and I wasn't seeing that coming. I do have to say, were the kills great? Yes. Was the whole situation great? Yes.
I'll bet you $100 the kills and Scream don't even come close to the kills in this movie.
Well, I don't know. The kills, we'll see. But you're right. The kills were pretty badass in this one. My problem with this is that I didn't need the side plot about Cube's son. Is it O'Shea Jackson?
Mm-hmm.
O'Shea Jackson.
He's
And
great though, man.
no, what I'm saying is, but that side story with him and that other dude, I didn't care about that. I thought it just didn't matter about him and his son staying with Ray Liotta. And then the other side plot with the kids, I didn't need that. And I'm tired of the token little.
I like that. It felt Goonies to me, man.
I don't know, man. To me, I feel like they're doing it all the time now.
Goonies?
Nah, that's
Listen, they were in a cave. They went spelunking. I mean,
but
all you need is Baby Ruth.
I wanted gangsters. I wanted absurdity. I wanted them trying to find it. Super desperate. We got that, but I thought it was filled up too much with this sort of mom hunting her kids story that to me didn't belong in the story. I wanted them to go way over the top, and they didn't quite go absurd enough for me.
What?
To like.
And eats people and chases an ambulance. It just the Ranger's ass.
I wanted it to go more like the more fast paced, like rock and roll and everything. But sometimes it would start and stop, and they would try to get emotional. And look, I'm sorry, the kids' one-liners, they didn't really come off that funny to me. And some of the situations, I feel like there was a lot of missed opportunities. I still had fun with it. Kills are great, but to me, it kind of felt a little average.
Yeah, like I had a lot of fun with it as well. One thing I said to Bobby was, I'm not quite sure this movie knew what it was trying to be. For example, were you trying to be on the absurd where, I mean, it truly is absurd. So were you trying to be absurd with this where it's like the kills are just so over the top? Because if you were trying to do that, you didn't go far enough. But if you're trying to be a bit more realistic where it's just a bear that is rabid because it's on coke, well, then you went too far.
Well, I don't think they were trying to do that at all. You know, I don't think
they went. I just don't think they went. I don't think that they jumped the shark enough.
The beginning, so the very beginning, the opening scene does have kind of a horror vibe to it.
Right.
But that's the only time it's tense like that. After that, they go straight for the comedy, and it works. I think it really works.
I just didn't find myself laughing out loud a whole lot.
Really? But you like some of the crappy ass humor in Ant-Man.
I said I thought there were some funny moments in that. Yeah,
dude, that was all just That's like the Marvel go-to of comedy that they did there. Marvel recycles their comedy worse than Family Man.
But look, I'm also going for two different types of movies when I'm going to see this. So like, I'm not going to compare the two films. What I'm saying is that like, it just didn't have that pace that I wanted. I wanted this to be like explosions happening behind the bear and everything. I wanted them to fucking.
Are you watching Rambo?
Like Sharknado. You know what I'm saying?
Are you trying to get a bear with a machine gun?
It's called Cocaine Bear.
The bear pulls back an arrow with a bomb attached to it and shoots down.
If he's already bringing cocaine back to his cubs, if he's already doing that, then I think that they need to just go far enough to make it to where, no, he doesn't grab a gun, but it comes damn near close. That's what it needs to do. It's called, you're already calling it Cocaine Bear, and you're making it way off the rails.
I don't understand how this movie was absurd. This movie was incredibly absurd. A bear spits out a bullet after snorting cocaine.
I don't think they jumped the shark enough.
Right. It spits out a bullet. It spits out a bullet when it does cocaine and brings it back to life. But I felt like there should have been more moments of absurdity like that.
But then they jump to the emotional moments, and then
like when it plays or when it falls asleep on top of Ray Liotta's son. Which, by the way, that guy looks so much like Ray Liotta. I had me questioning that if he was actually Ray Liotta's son.
You know that actor is though, right?
Eldon, Enright.
Yeah,
right?
he played Han Solo in the Solo movie.
Yeah.
Or movie.
Yeah.
No, look,
he was so much better in this movie.
But like their banter and everything with him and O'Shea and like the things they were talking about and like the way he was sticking up for that country dude, and I just didn't find it funny. I felt like they were shoehorning comedy in there for me that wasn't working. That's all I'm saying.
It did get a little convoluted, and it like the girl police officer who suddenly is corrupt. Like, why did you need to do that?
And you saw as soon as she came down the hill, you're like, okay, this chick is corrupt.
And the story about the dog, like that just wasn't all that funny to me. And what was the whole?
If I have one complaint, it's that, and I was going to start up. I forgot I was going to start the podcast with it. Shit.
Oh, dude, yeah. Shit. Yeah.
You didn't do it in this movie, man.
Yeah.
I was like, when he was dying, when he was on a dying breath, I was like, say it.
Just
Say it, motherfucker, say it.
That would have been
Yeah,
great.
that'd been good.
That and he had some funny lines and again, like this is a movie that I probably will put in the collection because it is Cocaine Bear and there are absurd moments and it's fun and it's fun to put in a party type situation. But for me, like I just wanted it to be a little bit more like I don't know. It didn't have the energy and the fast pace that I want. Like it slowed down a lot of times and there was some dragging moments.
You know what? I think I see the problem. I think you don't respect this movie because it was directed by a woman.
Not at all. I love Elizabeth Banks. I think she's awesome.
Kidding. I'm just kidding.
I thought you were going to say something about Kevin Smith.
I would like her to take on an even more genre, a horror genre movie after this.
Yeah, I think that she kind of gets that well.
Did she do a good job directing, Bobo?
Yeah, I think she did. I do think the pace was a little. I think there were some things in there that didn't belong, but overall, I think that, you know, she understands that there were good moments. She got the moments right when like something needed to jump out and, you know, she definitely did some horror homage moments with the bear sticking his arm through the window and everything like that. And what I wanted was more of that. Okay. I wanted the bear to be doing more shit like that. Like when they were like the bear's on top, like I wanted it to be like this bear's done so much coke that he's almost behaving like a human. Like, that's just I needed more of that, but instead, again, we're talking about the same movie where this bear is bringing cocaine back to his cubs.
Okay. You know, now, full disclosure, we're all good kids. None of us have ever done cocaine, right? Well, Bob.
Never touch this stuff.
Yeah, hey kids, don't do that.
Yeah, I don't even know what cocaine.
I will say that I've heard. Shut up. That's stupid. I will say that I've heard. I'm not saying that I know this. I'm just saying that I've heard that that's a pretty absurd description of what you feel like on cocaine. Like if anybody's ever done cocaine, not saying that I've ever done cocaine, mind you, never, ever, unless my mom isn't watching, and then maybe I have. You don't chase after an ambulance and, you know, eat people inside the ambulance.
You definitely don't become ravenous. However, you do get a little bit of more, you get powder courage instead of liquid courage. You know, I've done some wild shit. I've heard about people doing wild stuff on that stuff.
Yeah. You think you can fly off a building?
That's PCP.
Which is why that or you feel superhuman, which is suddenly how that bear was able to chase after that ambulance like that.
Just real fly. He's just flying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
You just talk real fast, guys. You just talk real fast. And you're annoying to everybody around you.
Yeah. So that's the thing. The bear can't talk. So how would you translate the talking really fast for people to an animal?
No, at the beginning it was the best.
Running around circles. If the bear
running around, what? It should just run around circles the whole time.
Yeah, that's probably how I would imagine an animal on cocaine would react.
Well, no, at the beginning when the couple first sees it, and he's like,
that's what homeboy gets for stepping out on Brianna Tarth. You know what I'm saying? Your new woman just got eaten.
Motherfuckers are cutting me off here, and I've tried 3 times to finish that sentence. Not even funny anymore.
Well, he gets. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, see, no. You just keep cutting me off. Also, about the kids.
So anyway,
if you ate that cocaine as a kid, you wouldn't just spit it out and not feel anything.
Oh yeah, for sure. You actually
probably be more fucked up.
Yeah, you'd be a lot more fucked up.
Yeah. Well, they did have that little kid say, "My throat feels weird," but it should have been like, "I can't feel my tongue."
Yeah, exactly. I can't move my legs. Probably because you just swallowed cocaine, you idiot. Even when I was a kid, I had never done coke, but I knew you snorted it. How stupid are these fucking kids? You know what I'm saying?
That's true, because I'd seen that, especially in the 80s, they're showing it in movies, and if they were cursing like that, then they definitely had seen some movies where they did coke. I had seen coke a bunch in movies growing up.
Yo, in the 80s, they had that good cocaine too.
Yeah.
They had a fire coke in the 80s.
Now, speaking of coke, we know that old Ray Liotta was a nice cokehead in Goodfellas. It was interesting to see him in this playing that role that was slightly wasted. It's barely in the movie. and he's kind of compassionate.
Hey, you
Yo,
bite
he
your
does
tongue.
not look well in this movie. Like it did not surprise me that he passed away after this movie after watching him in this movie.
Hey, you bite your tongue.
I love Ray Liotta. I'm not talking shit. I'm just saying he wasn't in the movie enough.
That's probably a wig, man. Like they wanted him to look like an 80s drug dealer, dude.
No, I'm not. It's not his hair. His hair looks fantastic. It's the fact that he looked like he was on his last legs, literally, while in this movie. He looked pasty. He didn't look well, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I saw him.
It's weird seeing him die in the movie when he just died in real life.
That's it. I said that while we were watching it. I said, what a farewell to Ray
his
Liotta.
fucking send off.
Yeah.
Now that was beautiful. That was just like in the end of Day of the Dead when the Treat Williams lookalike is getting his guts eaten up by the zombies. And he's going, choke on him.
When the mom caught the rifle, I was like, oh God.
Yeah, again, I didn't need that scene. To me, it was their whole story arc was unnecessary and completely like the movie would have been the same movie and faster paced if those kids and the whole search for them wasn't involved with it. It could have still all happened. I just wanted to see the drug dealers losing their shit the whole time.
I disagree. I don't necessarily know it was executed well, but you do always need an emotional anchor in a movie. That's just movie writing 101. You got to have that emotional anchor.
Well, I didn't mind the kids and Carrie Russell being the mom trying to find her kids. The kids that I could have done without are those fucking stupid punk ass teenagers that tried to, they thought they were going to literally jump big ass O'Shea Jackson in a bathroom.
Right.
Like, are you guys, are y'all kidding me right now?
But two of them were just in there just to get killed by that bear, though.
Yeah, they were all
they were bear fodder.
Or bear fodder.
Yeah. I could have done without. I could have done without those three idiots.
Yeah. Agreed.
I looked up these pictures right here. So that guy right there is the only one I could find. I couldn't find any other pictures.
Dude, that kid he's just one of those kids you want to punch.
Yeah, for sure.
If I saw a kid in school, I wasn't really a bully, but if I could have been a bully, I wasn't a bully because I couldn't be a bully. I wasn't big enough to be a bully. If I was big enough to be a bully, I would definitely beat that kid up in school. You know?
Yeah, and then also the other guy, Alden, whatever his real name is, and his whole like emotional roller coaster of it's just me and my son.
I didn't need it,
and then this strange weird kid is now gonna get on an emotional level with him. I was like, come on.
I didn't need
I mean,
it was a weird choice because when you first see him all broken up over his woman, the way he's acting, you're like, okay, they're going to make this a joke. So it's going to be she broke up with him for some stupid reason. He's just being a bitch. No, she dies of cancer. We're supposed to laugh at this guy being broken up about his woman dying of cancer.
Yeah.
Like, no, like I understand why this guy is acting like his wife just died of cancer. You know?
Yeah.
No, for sure. That was a strange choice to make.
Now that I will say this, that joke about John being tattooed on his chest.
That was funny.
That was pretty funny.
That was funny, yeah.
They misspelled it. It's supposed to be Joan, and I'm stuck with John until this is just have him corrected. I have to wait till this heals before I can get it fixed, and so I'm stuck with John
for another week.
I mean, that was funny.
Now that was a good stick for sure. What'd you think about this guy from? Oh shoot, what's the name of it?
Yeah, that was
Modern Family.
That I like that guy as an actor, but I could have done without that cameo. It did nothing for the movie.
So how about the woman?
I do think he went out like a complete idiot because you're the animal expert. You climbed the tree.
Hey, he didn't like the word animal.
Yeah, he didn't like calling them animals. Yeah. Remember?
You're a fucking animal.
Yeah, so it's it's only right that he gets eaten by an animal.
Yeah, you're dumbass. You know, this scene was awesome.
Yeah,
this scene was the best scene in the goddamn movie.
Yeah, with the door. Yeah.
That whole ambulance thing, dude. When she got impaled on the pavement, that was probably my favorite.
That's when I knew that this was possibly the greatest movie that ever been.
I love that. So this one's a real fresh for you, huh?
Yeah, dude. This is real classic, is what this is. We might have to add the goat tier.
I think that for me, what it was is I feel like they had an opportunity to just go crazy with it, and they just went a little crazy. That's my only complaint.
I'm not feeling like how much more crazy they could have gotten without going so off the farm that it completely just ruins the credibility of the movie.
See, I guess I was expecting it to not really I was going into like extremely like kind of no credibility in the sense of like it's almost as bad as Sharknado, but not.
Yeah, okay. So you want it to be Sharknado or Family Guy? See, that's why I don't want that. I'm so sick of that.
Well,
Like,
Sharknado never went to the theater, so I mean,
But
Yeah.
I'm not all the way Sharknado, just kind of like a little more to that side is what I wanted. Like I said, I wanted a little more explosions. I wouldn't mind, I wouldn't mind a nice shot of like the bear running away and there's an explosion in the
who
background
did
of
you
a
want?
building.
Who did you want to bring explosives? to have
yeah.
explosions?
How are we getting explosions in here?
they're I don't know. He could have ran into some little fuel areas.
Do you want the bear to turn the Incredible Hulk and fight the military? Is that what you want? You want
I-
Ang Lee to direct this bitch?
I'm just telling you, how I feel.
The bear
just-
goes out in the desert and starts fighting
crazy.
tanks.
It was still fun. Again, for me, it was more of a real mid. It felt like kind of an average pace. And I think a lot of it had to do with the pacing and the other plot lines that I just didn't care about.
Are you from the Bizarro universe?
Look, you know how Wolf
Deep
of
cut
Wall
for you
Street
fans.
and Goodfellas and Casino, like when they start, they have this rhythm to them that just keeps. And it's just like this crazy things just start layering in one on top of the other, one on top of the other. And I felt like this one was like, oh, cool, a crazy bear kill, and let's die down for a little while. Oh, cool, more crazy bear, and let's die down a little while. And then some plot stuff that I don't really care about. I just kind of wanted more of this nonstop.
So what your complaint is that there was a plot? That's what it sounds like. You're complaining.
Plot stuff. It's so funny. I can't disagree with Anshul when I don't like something, but he just tears me down.
I'm not tearing you down. I respect
you-
your opinion, Bob.
Are you going to be okay?
No, what I'm saying is my points are extremely valid.
Oh, Corey, your feelings are valid, man.
I'm
Your
not
feelings
saying
are.
there's
This
no
is
plot. I said there were some
2023.
things-
Your feelings are always valid on this podcast.
Side plots that I didn't like. That's all. There's
I used to
plot
have this
there.
joke.
The bear eats all this cocaine and they're drug dealers after it. I think adding the kids and adding that stupid emotional stuff, I just didn't care about.
Okay, fair enough.
It's more boring for me. The movie.
Where do you stand on this? Let's have you be the tiebreaker.
I mean, I understand where Bobby's coming from. Like what I pointed out. I like how I pointed out with the that female cop suddenly being corrupt. It's like, well,
That was
okay,
stupid for
well,
sure.
Yeah, why did you do that? Like, well, okay, so how long is now? It makes me want to know, like, okay, well, how long has she been in cahoots with these drug dealers? And it's like, well, that's irrelevant. Like, I don't need to be thinking about that. It doesn't.
Yeah, she made no difference. She didn't break up the the Mexican standoff because that had already been broken up by Ray Liotta.
Yeah,
she served no purpose. She ends up leaving 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later. It's like, why did you even show up?
Yeah, and at the very end,
that's why she showed up. She showed up to give homeboy the dog.
Yeah, at the end, she just gives him the dog, and she's like, "All right, I'm leaving." Like, what? So your whole corruption, it really furthered the narrative at all. Zero. So
when did they introduce the dog?
So I understand the subplot stuff that Bobby's talking about. Is like it's not necessary.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily agree with the kid stuff because you've got to find a way to relate to have like a parent, for example, watching this and be like, yeah, I'd be out there too if there's a wild bear looking for my kids, and that just kind of furthers the whole like intertwining people who are now all in the same boat of being attacked by a bear, and they all have really nothing to do with each other except now they're being attacked by a bear. I don't think that it needed to only stick to these drug dealers trying to retrieve coke from that a bear happened to eat. You've got to add a little bit more depth to it than what Bobby's saying he wanted to see. But I also saying that I don't care for those teenage kids who did nothing but were cannon fodder, like you said. They were just there so that the bear could have more.
I can't say that just because homeboy got shot in the head like a boss, though.
Yeah,
like I would have been right if that homeboy didn't get shot in the head like that. I would be right there with you. But that scene alone makes it worth it for me.
I find myself laughing in a lot of movies, and I can't lie and say that I was laughing a lot in this. I wasn't, and I was expecting to. And that, I guess that's when the humor between a lot of them, it just to me wasn't landing for me. I see that they were trying to implement it. I see that they were trying to use tactics, and we got to do this. But like the kids' jokes, that little kid wasn't funny. He was just saying like stereotypical, like the little Ryan Reynolds kid did already. I don't know. It just seemed very generic to me.
Well, dude, I laughed at so many kills like a homicidal maniac. I will say that I just thought of a theory. a film theory, to borrow a phrase. What if they introduce that dog? Because in the next movie, we're going to get Cocaine Bear versus John Wick.
Oh Lord.
Mind blown. Mind whole
Then
blown.
that girl, that lady cop being in it, totally makes it worth it. If you can deliver the dogs and give me Cocaine Bear versus John Wick needs to happen, fellas. It just needs to happen.
I mean, Anshul, I don't really understand how you're not a filmmaker, man. I mean, that's just
I'm telling you, boys.
I mean, it's just brilliant.
Well, we haven't
Be
seen
like
John Wick
printing
4
money.
yet. We don't know if there's some sort of weird. I mean, these days everybody's tying over and crossing over movies, so you never know.
Yeah. Cocaine Bear versus John Wick versus Godzilla versus King Kong.
What if it's
Money.
a post-credit scene and the bear shows up at his front door? You know.
Yeah. Guys,
I chuckled a little bit at the very end when the dog got in the car and he's like, "Has the dog been doing coke?"
Yeah, I mean,
All right. Okay.
I did not laugh completely. I don't know. Like, we were watching this trailer. Did you see that trailer for like the new Burt Kirshner movie? Did they show that where you were?
which one was it?
I can't remember the name of it, but it's his life story. And it's like how, but then something's going on. It's like the first part of it's his life story. And the second part of it, he gets involved with like this Russian, like he gets kidnapped by some Russian thing and he has to go over to Russia. It looked really funny, but there's this part where he is saying, I'm going to lean around the corner and just shoot this guy and shoot him in the foot. And there's this badass walking around the corner. And then Bert tries to shoot him in the foot and just immediately just nails him in the head. And to me, that was way funnier. I was dying laughing.
Dude, accidental headshots that's a rim shot.
Yeah.
Well, that kid in this one was an accident. It's the stupid park ranger who brags about how she gets to carry a gun because she can shoot people, and she shoots a fucking innocent kid in the head because she's trying to shoot the bear.
Well, that idiot kid was standing in the doorway.
Right in front of her, but she was also closing her eyes, pulling the trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Her crush on that other guy too. That was weird. I was like, what?
Yeah. Again, like, okay, I guess that was part of a character development thing, but it went nowhere.
That's probably that was probably the actor being like, my character's made a choice. She's gonna be in love with.
I get that, it didn't get to land anywhere because they died. But it was still still a little silly. And it just kind of was, it didn't make or break the movie.
So I think what the writers were trying to do there is they were just trying to show how incompetent and stupid this whole town is. That the park ranger's not taking their job seriously.
Right. Yeah.
The kids
the animal control person is incompetent. Right. So that's how this bear is able to go wild.
Yeah.
Right?
And the animal control person doesn't even want to call them animals, and it's like the whole, like a vegan thinking that, you think a lion's not going to eat you because you're a vegan.
Right.
Yeah.
And that would, at first I couldn't tell if the bear was wanting to eat them or if he was wanting to eat them, or if she was just wanting to get more coke, because sometimes it was just like getting distracted by going after the coke.
Man, I was going to touch on that.
But then it was like eating people like
that's
crazy.
When we should have known the bear was a female. We shouldn't have had to wait,
What is that supposed to mean? I'm gonna let you say that.
I think you know what that means, Bobby.
Yeah. Hey, well, sometimes silence is golden.
I was gonna touch on that. It became more about, I started wondering, like, this bear is not really just trying to eat all the people in its way because it's gone rabid. Mm-hmm. It's sniffing out where the coke is because it wants to continue to eat the coke. Mm-hmm. And take it back to its cubs, which I guess is part of the comedy of the whole thing, is that it just fell in love with doing coke, because this is labeled a horror comedy, so it's not exactly supposed to be a scary bear movie. So
have you guys
anybody that's had a Hispanic girlfriend has lived this movie? But I just I gotta say, man, I just had a ton of fun with this movie, and
I told him that I thought that you were going to trash it.
Really?
Yeah, when we were coming out of the theater.
Oh yeah, no, I said he'll trash it.
I had a ton of fun with this movie. I would rank it. We'll get to the grades in a little bit, but I think you'd be surprised with my grade. I definitely would recommend watching this movie, guys.
I would recommend watching
it. It's not for the weak of stomach, though.
No, it's not. But you're also talking to two guys that are like extremely desensitized to some of those kills sometimes.
Yeah, they don't
so
try to
me,
make them look too realistic either. I think they did that on
no,
purpose. I think
they did a good job with the kills. The one that was a little kind of when he fell out of the tree.
Yeah.
I loved the kill, but that was like, oh, that was a CG body drop for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, I loved the kill. The kill though of her flying out of the ambulance was so gratifying.
Oh, that was good.
Like
Yeah,
that was just one.
good.
That's one you're like, oh.
What are the top 5 kills in this movie?
That one's number 1 for me.
Number 1 for me is the headshot.
The headshot looked really good. So I
mean, especially listen, I'll give Elizabeth Banks this. One of my favorite movies of all time is The Quick and the Dead. But one of the flaws in that movie is they don't depict the headshot right because you'll just see a bullet hole fly through and there's no brain matter.
That's how Westerns all were back in the day.
But this one, it gets it right, man. The entry hole is a lot bigger than the exit, or the exit hole is a lot bigger than the entry hole. Yeah. You got brain matter all over the place.
Yeah, it even got the other kid's face is covered in blood, and he was like 5 feet away from him.
Yeah. Oh, covered in chunks.
Yeah, chunks. Yeah.
No, Elizabeth Banks definitely did not shy away from the gore. I was actually wondering if she was gonna try to just do some fun off-screen kills or a lot of implications, but no, it was like, this is what happens, even up to the bitter end with Ray Liotta. So that's gratifying.
But they did start it off with almost like how we did with our short film was, it progressively got more ballsier and more graphic. So like that fiance that gets killed, you only see a leg fly out from the bushes. You don't really see anything else. And then as it progresses, now you finally see the bear taking a chunk out of someone's head at the end. So yeah, it wasn't just.
I wonder if some of that was ratings board, though. I wonder if that beginning scene was more graphic, and they had to tone it down for a better rating.
These days, man, the ratings that board these days, though, they're pretty lenient on films now. Like Rob Zombie's movies, some of those are just crazy, and they're rated R. But in the late 80s, early 90s, they were tough on movies, hardcore.
It is hard to know.
Starting to lighten up.
Yeah, it is hard to know if sometimes if it's a director's choice, an artistic decision, or if we got to cut this for ratings purposes.
Well, and a lot of times it has to do with kids that they don't want to show that. They don't want to do things with kids and stuff. So I was surprised that they did the drugs like that. I was surprised that they did that.
You know what? When the bear came back to life, I was like, Elizabeth Banks loves her some cocaine.
Yeah.
This girl loves the cocaine, man. I could tell.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I pressed it and it hung up, man. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, she's had some fun with some cocaine. Yeah, I mean, the bear lives in the end,
Well, and I guess call me crazy, but I wanted more of the bullet cough, the bear coughing up the bullet type shit. That's what I wanted more. I wanted the bear to
this guy hates animation, but he wants bulletproof bears who are invincible because they snort cocaine.
Well, that's what I was saying about the absurdity. It verged on being absurd, but it didn't go far enough if it was trying to be an absurd movie. Because you got a bear at the end that gets brought back to life because cocaine gets back in its system and it spits out a bullet. Okay, well then why didn't you take that absurdity level? For example, when they're having that standoff with the detective on the roof of that gazebo, why did you just have the freaking bear get coke and decide it's got to just leap all the way up and eat the guy on top? Make it absurd. He could make it to where the bear can suddenly jump all the way up to the top of that gazebo and eat that detective.
Well, I mean, it doesn't go after the people, right? It falls asleep on.
Instead it goes and falls asleep.
Yeah, that's a cocaine bender. That's how cocaine benders work.
Well, and I got that. I mean, that was funny because the bear was coming down.
Yeah.
And so that was funny because he's walking around like, oh no, I'm feeling like shit. I don't want to be alive. And I mean, that's true. That's the way it rolls.
You're just sitting in bed for hours and hours and hours. And
why did I do it?
And then all of a sudden, boom.
But it gets more in that scene. They give him more of it. And instead it runs off to go get the coke.
I thought he gave it to him afterwards when it runs off, right? Well, after it wakes up, he gives him more.
Well, O'Shea Jackson is over there laying on him, and he drops the thing of coke out of there, and the bear wakes up, his eyes open up, and he looks over there, and then he swallows it, and they're like, "Let's see what kind of effect that has on him."
And he goes crazy, and then the dude rips open the cocaine, and
then he starts spraying it everywhere, and then
and that's why the bear runs off.
Yeah, yeah, but why? Again, that was what I'm saying. Is like, instead of making it where he runs after the coke, why don't you just make it to where it's suddenly it's on a high again, and now he wants to go eat everybody, and it leaps from the ground up to the top of that gazebo and eats the detective, and then and it's just like a wild, super animal. That would have been absurd, and that would have fit with what they did with the ending.
I agree.
But they wanted to introduce Ray Liotta. They wanted Ray Liotta to kill that guy to introduce him. And so, because there's only one heavy in this movie, it's Ray Liotta. And so you kill a likable character with Ray Liotta's character because that's the guy that everybody wants to die in the end, right? You create your bad guy. That's what they were going for. So
yeah, I don't know. For me, the Cocaine Bear was kind of like Avatar is the star. So it doesn't matter what stars were in it. Avatar was always going to be the star. The movie was the star. For me, Cocaine Bear was the star. So I didn't care who really was in it. I just wanted to see this bear. And again, like I said,
they create Ray Liotta's character for the specific purpose of having the bear kill him in a gratifying manner.
Right. Yeah. So you can have the bear still be a quote unquote good guy.
So that's why you need the detective to live, not die by the bear. You need him to die by Ray Liotta.
Well, you got
by Liotta.
Yeah, you got the token kid that you don't like, where he kind of brings it all together, where he says you're a bad person and you're a bad father.
That scene was cringe.
And now you're gonna get eaten by the bear.
And he says, "Who are you?" What does he say? My name is Henry something.
And I'm fucking tired.
Yeah.
It would have been a lot funnier if he said, "I'm Henry and I'm fucking high on coke."
I wish I had that Chuck Norris video clip pulled up right now of just Chuck Norris on a hill, just going. That's what I felt about that kid, man.
I wish I had the clip of Walker told me I have AIDS. It's still the greatest Walker Texas Ranger clip.
Classic. When Conan would just rip that out of nowhere and just he'd pull his Walker lever, and all of a sudden it would just, Walker told me I have AIDS.
It was, I guess you could say, and Bobby, and y'all, Anshul, you're gonna hate this, but I guess one perspective you could give it is, the bad father, Ray Liotta, who would probably have killed his own kid to retrieve this coke, is now getting eaten by a bear who is simply trying to protect her cubs.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yeah,
and there's a mother protecting
her kids.
And
so
and the kid too, they alluded to he had a bad father. She was always hungry and stuff like that.
By the way, those cartels they lose drugs all the time. They get drugs seized all the time. They're used to eating losses like that. Right?
Yeah, it's part of their loss for sure. Yeah.
So I'm watching this series. I'm plugged Johnny Mitchell, who's just on my brother's podcast. It's a great series on YouTube called The Connect. This guy used to run drugs and knows a lot of drug kingpins and goes to Mexico and talks to a lot of these hardcore dealers. And he talks about going to Medellin. You know how much a 8-ball of coke costs you in Medellin?
What? Like
$1.50.
$1? Whoa.
Medellin.
Now, this is back in like 2011, 2012. Probably about 2011, but still.
It's like $2.50 now?
Yeah.
Are you talking like Vinny Chase Medellin?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, straight from the source. So, like, for those guys, losing that much product, unless they really just want to leverage up a guy, but even then, like, they're real careful about what they do in America. So, if they lost, 70 kilos of coke, like, you might not want to go back to Medellin if you're the guy that lost the coke. Right. You might not want to go back anywhere near those guys.
You might not want to go to your private island.
Yeah, but they're not gonna sweat that too much.
Yeah, I mean. I see what you're saying. Like it wouldn't have. He really just wanted his coke. Then maybe that Ray Liotta was such a piece of shit. He just wanted that coke.
No, I don't think that's true. I think.
I mean, honestly, he probably already paid them for the coke. Like if the way that transaction works in real life, he's probably already. Well, you could get it on consignment and say, "Hey, I'll pay you when I get the money," and then you could put yourself in some trouble there. But more than likely, as a wholesaler, he already paid for it. Dude, hey man, thanks to Johnny Mitchell, I'm a pro now. I think to trade myself.
I think Anshul's just pointing out the factual kind of things that would happen, but I think for the sake of the movie and the stakes being really high for Ray Liotta's character, he truly does believe, hey, if I don't retrieve this, they're going to come after me, and they're going to come after you. They're going to come after your kid. He has to believe that for the sake of the stakes being that high for him to care so much.
Yeah. And the audience will believe it too. That's believable
Right.
for an audience, right?
Right.
So,
But I do think they should have just leaned into him being a piece of shit.
I would have liked that.
And I guess another thing that I kind of made note of, I guess you could say, is when Ray Liotta pops up out of nowhere and shoots the detective. How is he? So he does that. How is he also not aware of the situation at hand? He shoots the guy, and then he's wondering where the fuck his coke is. Like, well, you show up and you shoot this guy. You're not aware of everything else that's happening. There's a freaking bear that's been eating the coke. You've been following us.
I did wonder if he didn't see what happened, but I mean, it's kind of believable. He sees his two guys in a standoff. One of them's got his finger shot off, and the other guy's he's got the higher ground. He's like Obi-Wan Kenobi up there. He's invincible at the higher ground. Never mind the fact that they both have their guns trained on each other.
Yeah.
You know?
I do think it was funny though. He's like, how did he get those two fingers?
Yeah.
That was funny.
Next to each other.
So overall, do you think this movie's going to do well?
No.
What are the rotten scores?
Well, what is doing well for a movie like this, I guess, is the
I mean, I think that
what was the budget? Does anyone know?
I'll look that up.
You're looking that up?
Mm-hmm. First, let's look up the rotten. Cocaine Bear, Rotten Tomato. 71%, 79% audience score.
So
I think that's enough for it to do well.
It's $35 million budget. So
I don't make that back.
Yeah, it'll make that back.
Yeah,
no problem.
It'll okay. I think it'll make 35 million. It'll make it back, but 100 million, 200 million, I don't know.
I mean, what's profitable for a
too.
movie like this? If you make 100 million, you've made a ton of money.
You've made a lot of money.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you make 50 million, it's not considered a success in the eyes of the business, but you're still grateful as a company. You're still like, all right, at least we made 50 million. You still don't view it as a success because it's not in the eyes of doing business, but they still at least like didn't lose money.
I think with those Rotten Tomato scores, it'll be it should do okay.
I think it'll do fine, and it'll stick in its little vein. And I think that again, I'm going to add it to the collection. And
plus, people love cocaine.
Yeah, I mean, everybody loves cocaine. In fact, I need to have that more readily available.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah.
So, hey,
shout outs to James Peck, because when that show aired, I love James, but nobody was more annoying because he would come out every day after that episode dropped of Chappelle's Show. He would come and reenact the entire episode to the point where it got annoying as fuck. He'd be like, James, I watched the show. I don't need you to do the whole Rick James skit for me.
Yeah, I know. I work with a guy who would do the exact same thing, not necessarily with Chappelle's Show, but anything like that. He would tell me the entire thing and reenact it. I'm like, all right, well, I don't need to see it now. Thanks.
Jay Peck had chronic diarrhea of the mouth, dude, and that guy literally had no memory of what he told people. He would retell you the same story.
One of the nicest guys ever.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know. We knew a different side of him by working with him. He could be a prick.
I worked with him too. I was a host with him.
Yeah. Well, Bobby, cocaine's a hell of a drug.
A hell of a drug. No,
yeah.
Not to bag on Peck though, but I saw him be a prick to more people than just me.
Oh, really?
First-hand stuff. Yeah, he had a side to him, but
yeah, I mean, people have that side, and I'm not going to doubt you. But I never got to see it personally.
Well, hey, fun fact, in case you didn't know, the real cocaine bear is actually taxidermied, and it's in a mall in Kentucky.
Yeah, I said that earlier.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Sorry.
Yeah, good job.
No, but I didn't say it was in Kentucky, so you got some extra.
It's as of like 2015. The real cocaine bear is taxidermied and it's in a.
Did
mall.
they stuff it with cocaine?
Well, actually, they I guess it's a makeup thing. I love it, but on the actual bear, they make sure there's always a little bit of a white around its
powder.
nose.
Just for fun,
for real. And they put like a sign around its neck, talking about how you shouldn't do drugs.
That damn bear, dude! Look at him, just covered in cocaine.
But
you shouldn't do 72 pounds of cocaine, kids.
But that taxidermied real cocaine bear is probably going to get a lot of attraction now, but this movie's out.
Yeah,
people are going to watch this movie and be like, Man, if we're in Kentucky, we should go check out the real life cocaine bear.
Yeah, right after we check out the Jack Daniels museum or whatever. And
Yeah.
then we're done with Kentucky.
Yeah, that's something that let's say let's put it on the list, man. We're gonna try to go see Crystal Lake. We'll try to go see Springwood from Freddie. Let's go see this.
Yeah, we go to Kentucky. We can see Jack Daniels. We can see Cocaine Bear, and we can see a bunch of KKK.
Whoa, hey!
We'll do the Kentucky Triangle.
To go burn their facilities to the ground is what you meant to say.
Obviously, yeah, they're gonna love to have me over for a powwow.
Okay. Yeah, you'd be. Yeah.
Hey guys,
yeah,
I'm here for the meeting. Should I just take a sit right here, right next to Billy Bob? How you doing, Billy Bob?
My name's Clayton Bigsby.
That's funny. Yeah. All right.
Come with like a box lunch. Like, hey guys.
Yeah, you're ready to go.
Yeah.
You brought them all like some Indian food. Like
I got some little Timmy Snacks cakes. Some fudge rounds for you guys.
Yeah. Hey, you guys want to go toss around the pigskin?
Yeah.
So you grade this one a real fresh, huh?
I'm gonna go ahead and say that this is a 9 point. No, this is a solid 8 for me. I really enjoyed this movie.
All right.
8.1 because I don't believe in round numbers.
Gotcha. No, hey, there's something to that. I'm weird about that with like the volume on the TV.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, it needs to be on 21, not 20. How about you, Andrew? So we've got real trash, real mid, real decent, and real fresh.
Yeah. So Andrew, if you're not familiar with it, we'll just go over because it'd be a good idea to also, refresh our audience. So 0 to 5, if it's below 5, it's real trash, and that's real REEL.
Mm-hmm.
You got the graphic bubble, and you want to show them.
Oh, I get it.
We got to make sure we let the audience know. We gotta let them know about our marketing.
Yeah,
Five.
This is like a movie reel. Get it?
Yeah, 5 to 6 would be real mid. 6 to 7 or 6 to 8 underneath 8 would be real decent. And then we've got real fresh because it's the real fresh. You know what I mean? It ain't like that other fresh.
Yeah.
We know what fresh I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I would say this is real decent because I would give it like a 6.5.
Yeah, I'm torn between the real mid and real decent. So I'm going to lean towards the real decent just because it is called Cocaine Bear. And it was fun. I did have some fun with it. I went in expecting to be like you guys. And that's just not the way I was feeling. So
sounds like he wanted to be an anime, guys.
Oh man.
This guy's got jokes.
If the bear had big eyes, would you have liked it more?
It would have had big eyes and it would have gone.
Well, hey, quick question though. Remember in Super Troopers when he's fucking that bear? Is that Cocaine Bear? When he says bear fucker.
It might have been the cocaine.
Did the bear take the mustache ride? I can't remember. It's been a while.
Yeah. You boys want to go Mexico? You boys like Mexico?
I remember watching that movie and be like, being just so obsessed with the fact that the guy's Indian. Like, hey, it's one of us guys. And then he does the mustache ride. And I'm like, maybe not. Maybe it's not. Might have been mistaken there.
He was
probably Mexican, yeah.
Hey, he chugs that syrup and he is all that is man.
Dude, he's hilarious in Jackass. Is it Jackass 2? Where he's the cab driver pretending to drive in because the other guy's acting like the terrorist.
What's that other? So they did 2 Super Troopers, which I heard the second one was trash.
Yeah,
they did another movie, right? What was the other movie they did?
Movies.
They did the beer one.
Yeah.
Well, they did Beer Fest.
That was great.
They also did Club Dread. Which I love. No, I love Club Dread.
Which at the end of Beer Fest, they teased that there was going to be a Weed Fest movie, and that never happened.
Because Beer Fest didn't really do all that well in the theaters. It became a hit after the fact when people were like watching it at late night after their server shifts and shit. But then they also had the Slammin' Salmon.
Oh, yeah, about a restaurant.
And they also did the Dukes of Hazzard movie. A lot of people don't realize that, but the one that had Sean William Scott and Johnny Knoxville, and they got them to do that because they were having problems with the script. So they hired them on like halfway.
The Broken Lizard crew.
They hired that Broken Lizard crew on to help them with the script.
Slanted Salmon sounds like code for texting a hooker.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of those type of jokes in that movie because it's a restaurant movie.
Oh,
And
is it?
so there,
Yeah.
it's funny.
It's a little bit like Waiting, but more raunchy.
Yeah, but
Guys, what's the worst thing you ever did to somebody's food?
I never did anything like that, man.
I don't know if I ever did anything. I'm really trying. I'm honestly trying to think. I've seen what a cook has done to my food, and I've not said anything because I hated my table. In the sense that, like, I've seen them accidentally drop something and put it back on, but like that was just me and being busy. And it's like, you know what? I didn't do it, and it's got to keep this rolling. And they probably burned off whatever. They put it back on the flaming grill. So I felt okay about it. I had no Troy though. We all remember Troy.
What did Troy do?
Dude, Troy was hilarious. He would come up. He would come up there, and
we should probably change his name, but we already dropped.
Nobody knows his last name. Just called him Troy, T-Roy. But he would come up to the line and everything, and he would look at something, and then he would rub his face. He'd be like, "Oh, Bobby, oh, Bobby, oh, Bobby." He's like, "This table of mine, man, there's some bitches. Bobby, there's some bitches." And he'd be rubbing his face, and he'd be like, "Let's make sure that their food's nice and hot." And they'd be like enchiladas, and he would stick his fingers just straight in there. He would like, just make it nice and hot. Make sure. Oh, you know what? They need some more sauce. Augie, would you get some sauce on here for us? And then he would just like make it look like nothing was wrong, and then take it to the table. He did that all the time.
Well, first of all, that impression is uncanny.
That was fucking great. Yeah, I miss that guy, dude.
Man, dude, he trained me. And I literally heard him say he would say it so fast that the table is either like, did he just say that? Or they just didn't hear it. But he'd be like, all right, it's a pleasure taking care of y'all. Thank you so much. Tip me good.
Yep. Oh, dude, I'd hear him be like, "Yeah, thank you so much. Tip me good. Yeah, you bitches." They'd walk away, and nobody would ever say anything. He was one of the few guys I'd ever seen that could like actually sometimes talk somebody down that would be like fighting, like some drunk bastard in the bar. Not always, but and he could be like, hey, buddy, hey. And it's, he looked like kind of like Chris from Family Guy.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh man.
T-Roy, that was Bobo that said that. I don't agree. I don't co-sign on that. You're fine.
No, y'all just laughed at it. Y'all just laughed at it.
I just laughed at how absurd that was, Troy. I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah. No,
Troy was a giant teddy bear, man. I don't think I ever saw a dude get mad at anybody.
That's what I'm saying. He could talk somebody down for being like really pissed that was drunk, and I'd never seen anybody really be able to do that. He was a fellow manager of mine when I was in Addison. Like, it was me, him, and Lauren.
Did you hear
we were the three managers.
Did you hear the humble brag, Andrew?
Yeah.
No,
he was a fellow manager.
No, I'm saying listen to that shit show. Lauren Talley, Troy, I'm not going to say his last name, and me as your only three managers at a place.
Yeah, that's just like Goose. They fire a good person like me, and they let Troy be a manager.
Listen, we get a lot of Troy slander going on here. Troy, I was just trying to throw you some props.
Troy, I love you.
For being a funny guy.
Troy. I love you, Troy.
Dude, we got one person over here calling you Chris from Family Guy. We got the other person saying you were good at your job. I don't know what's going on here. Troy
came in one time with a Del Taco burger, and it was he was so excited about it. And he had this other big box, and it said lids on the side. When I saw it, I was like, "Oh, that's a hat." And Troy, he was like me. He likes his hats, but Troy wore his hats backwards. But
there was that time, guys. It was early 2000s.
Oh, he still does it.
Yeah.
But he would not let you touch his hats, dude. And,
oh, no.
But he came in there and like he's eating that burger, and like he just opens up this box and he's like, "Oh boy, Bobby, look at this." And he pulls his hat out and everything. And I, on purpose, I was like, "Man, you got this burger?" And it was like, and I put it down. I was like, "You got this hat, dude." I'd never seen Troy move so fast in my entire with that hat. He cared about it so, but it was almost like the Flash was in the same room with me. It was hilarious.
All right, who's the guy at the Goose that you hated the most?
Probably Greg Gonzalez, but
okay, let's leave managers out. That's easy when you go managers.
Okay, a person that I hated the most.
That worked there, or like a regular.
We'll go work first. We'll go regular second. Let's just spill all the tea.
Hey, we're just having some fun. Now we're getting off track on the.
Should we end the stream at least?
No, we can.
No, let's keep it going. Yeah, hey, we're having a good time
for everybody.
Yeah.
Well, but I will say let's only try to go 5 or 6 minutes because I do need to go after this. But
okay,
I think this is cool. Let's favorite or least favorite person at the Goose that worked there. man, everybody was kind of cool when I first started.
There's one easy answer. That was a different person when you hung out with this person outside of work.
MC Brown.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Michael Brown.
Completely different dude when you hung outside of work, man. He was cool as hell. In fact,
right.
one time he backed me up on a fight. So I'm with my homeboy. We'll call him Conan. And he is drunk as hell. And there's this dude up in his face trying to fight him. And he's so drunk, he doesn't understand what's going on. And so I don't even know what's going on. I walk up behind Conan and I get surrounded by 3 people. All right. And we're at Shuck and Jive. And the only thing I can do at this point, by the way, your boy's not a fighter. He's a lover, right? My boys know this. In case you look at this impressive physique and you can't tell, I'm not much of a fighter. So I'm just standing there and all I can do is just like mean mug because that's the only option I have. I've got 3 people on either side of me. I got this dude that's talking to my homeboy is huge. The other guy's not so much, but he's a big dude and he's angry. And I guess I must have done a good job because he stops talking. He's like jabbing his finger in my buddy's chest. All of a sudden he looks at me and he goes, "Who's this crazy looking motherfucker right here?" And in my mind, I'm just thinking, "Wait, are you being for real?" Like he was intimidated by me. And so his friends immediately kind of died down a little, right? Like, because he was the baddest one out of all of them. So now they're worried because he's scared of me. I still can't believe this guy's scared of me. But then more people show up and I see MC Brown come out of the corner and just stand there. And he was ready to go in case we got jumped.
Oh,
like a dog, like a G. Now the security eventually came and cleared it out. Thank God.
Michael Brown was definitely had a hair of crazy in him in the sense that when it was time for things like that, he wasn't afraid, or he'd be like, "Oh, we're going to do this." Okay. And his eyes he'd get that sort of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he was funny though. And honestly, towards the end, he started lightening up a little bit more and more. Like, how older people, the older they get, they sort of tone down. But when I first started there, you'd go leave your server booklet in the bar on accident, and he'd like walk out while you're rolling silverware, come with your server bucket, slam it on the table, keep it out of my bar. And dude, he walked back over like, dude, I'm sorry. We just did the draw. He
got mad at me once because he tried to make fun of me in front of this hot girl that I was friends with, and I just completely ripped him one. Like I didn't yell at him, but I just like owned him right back. And so this is back when I quit drinking. I was just drinking Red Bull all night long. And he tried to drop me a tab on all the Red Bull. Ryan McDonald was a manager. Shout out to Ryan McD, my boy. And I'm like, "Hey Ryan, check this out." And he looks at my tab, goes in the computer, rings it up as 0. Mike was pissed. He was livid.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
He's like, "This bullshit, man."
Yeah.
As I'm just sitting there laughing. I'm like, "What did you think was going to happen? You knew he was managing tonight." What about you? Who's your least favorite person there? A non-manager.
I mean, man, yeah, that was a blast from the past, MCB, dude. Like, so I do remember him being an asshole. And I tried to get along with everybody because it was a work environment, and I was like, the last thing I need is for people to not like me. But there was a brief period where, remember Katie Williams? Mm-hmm. She had a boyfriend who she got hired there, and he was an abusive piece of shit. And I hated that guy.
Yeah. Now that you bring him up, that's probably the one person that I actually was like the one person that was for real shady.
Yeah. I get along with Katie great, but I didn't talk to her for the longest time just because that guy was a piece. I didn't know him too well, but I heard enough about him, and I got to hang out with him a little bit and be like, "Dude, F this clown." So I didn't talk to her for the longest time because of that. And then when I eventually got to know her, she was awesome.
Yeah, and she's doing way better now. I mean, she's got kids.
Yeah,
she's rolling. Yeah, she's doing her shit.
But what about? We'll wrap this up with let's trash some regulars. Let's trash some innocent civilians.
Oh, Lee, I love.
Oh, I remember that guy.
Trash, dude. God.
Lee, which one was Lee?
Big guy.
He was always bringing in a girl. Apparently,
had a blockhead, look like Frasier kind of, but
he was always bringing in a girl, and apparently he would kind of pawn him off. And
Allie, her name was Allie, and she called herself Alley Cat. She was a stripper.
Yeah,
I remember.
He would whore her out up there. He would pimp her out.
Yeah. I got along with him, but I think he was a piece of shit.
I did too because I had to.
He drank CC7.
Yeah. I thought Allie was annoying. I mean, I didn't have anything against those two. Honestly, most of the regulars there I got along with, but there were one or two that were just like.
Yeah, most of them I usually got along with too.
I mean, I was always just kind of, doing what we're supposed to do by, keeping a smile on our face and giving them drinks. But I really didn't like that. I really didn't like
that big old dude, Doug. The big old biker.
Oh, I remember that guy too.
Oh, yeah.
Man, that guy, I remember him on Sunday brunches would be falling off his bike and be so drunk. Like, you're a grown-ass man at noon and you can't even fucking ride your bike anymore. Like, God damn.
He was just an ass.
I thought they were sweet, but I really couldn't stand that biker couple. Sue and is it Sue and
the older ones that were like in their 60s?
Yeah, and they would come in and they would come in
$2 Tecate.
They would come in and they would come in like 30 minutes before happy hour is over, and they'd want us to ring in all of the drinks they're going to have on happy hour prices and then give us $3 at the end of the night.
There's a couple like that. There was a guy, I liked him a lot. His name was Freddie, but they called him $5 Freddie. Yeah, back in the day, you guys missed the heyday of the
Freddie?
Yeah.
Freddie? Oh, excuse me, you're so beautiful. Oh, how could I forget Freddie?
Yeah.
The heydays of the Goose, man, they would comp us. Like, I would stay all day and my tab would be $5, Now I would tip 20. But even then, I came out like $40 ahead, right?
Right.
And I brought a big crew. Like, I always brought a big crew whenever I came, so the bartenders didn't care, They honestly didn't care if I even tipped them. I didn't have to because I brought so many people. But
yeah.
But Freddie, they would bitch because they'd be like, dude, no matter how much we comp this guy, he's always only tipping us $5.
Yeah. And what about Carlos, who had no front teeth? And he was always like,
yeah, he's nice. He's a sweet guy.
That's who I was thinking of.
No,
Carlos.
Yeah, that's what you're thinking of.
Freddie was the white dude. Hey,
yeah.
Bobby, what's up?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Sorry.
Carlos
was the one.
Yeah. And he would, I mean, I can't tell you any times I would not get a credit card from him because he'd say, I'm going to pay you cash at the end of the night. I'm going to pay you cash. Yeah. And then he would not pay. Mm-hmm. So the next time he comes back in, we're like, hey, you owe me $50 from last week when you said you're going to pay me cash.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Freddie was one that was the real piece of shit. He was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
He would like act like he was your friend for months and then all of a sudden do something that totally like use you for something.
Really?
Yeah, like, and then you'd be like, man, what the get out of here, Freddie. I see who you are now. But hey.
On the Patreon episode, we need to talk about some of the girls of the Goose.
Yeah, we'll
talk about some of the ladies next time. Sorry, ladies.
We'll do a Patreon for some Goose gals.
Yeah. We'll use aliases, ladies, just to make sure that we're not throwing anybody under the bus.
Definitely. We'll just be extremely physically descriptive and we'll use aliases.
You kids will never know. You've changed a lot since then.
Yeah, for example, if your name is Amy, we'll say Schmamy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Amy's that work there.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, overall, I'd say this is a movie to have fun with. I just was wanting it to be a little bit more outrageous than it was, but overall, I think I'm going to go with the real decent.
Yeah,
this is a really good time if you're on cocaine.
I didn't really know what to expect. So that being said, it was less than what I thought, but I still enjoyed it. So
yeah, listen, call up your coke dealer, grab an 8-ball, throw down a couple lines, and go watch this movie.
That's right.
Yeah,
and again,
just kidding. Don't do drugs. Don't demonetize.
I was about to say that was just a joke because remember,
cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Yeah, I wonder if YouTube is just going to be demonetizing all the reviews for this movie. Like, I wonder if it's even worth doing a review for this movie just because you can't do this review without saying cocaine 1,000 times.
Yeah, I think you can say cocaine. I just think that it just depends on the format. So we'll see. We'll see how well this video does. We'll see if a demonetization pops up for it. But
yeah,
hey, you want to sell us out though there?
Listen, guys, we got some things going on, and so you can go check us out below at the socials at Shogun of Cinema, at Instagram and at Twitter. You can go ahead and go to our Patreon. We're going to start doing Patreon episodes soon, right, Worley?
Yes.
Patreon.com/BrassReel. And we'll start doing some other content too. These boys are super creative. They've got a movie that's about to drop. They're always writing scripts. And so let's bring that to the community and let's kind of start getting good crowdsourcing going on. And you guys can be part of the creative process with two great creatives that like to listen to their fans. And I'm sure they'd appreciate it as well. So hop on that Patreon, patreon.com/BrassReel, and join our community. Of course, if you're still into Facebook, if you're a Russian bot, facebook.com/BrassReel. We like bots. It's okay. You can bot your way over. And finally,
Bye.
TikTok.com @BrassReel. And of course, at iflifegivesyoulemons.com, what should you do?
You want to take this one, Andrew?
Make some more fresh popcorns.
Whoa, that was loud. Holy shit.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Peace.
Peace.